Hi, my name is Miltiadis Pousalakis, and today we're going to discuss about TypeScript record. We're going to embark on a quest. Yes, you heard it right. We're going to do a quest, and there we're going to discover some shiny treasures where we're going to try to sort out the loot, identify the types with a TypeScript record. So now it's time to start. So come along and enjoy the ride. In TypeScript, record is a utility type that helps you create objects with specific keys and value types. Record has two parameters. The first one is keys, and the second one is type. You can see sometimes to be represented with K and T as a shorthand syntax. Keys can have a single key, or they can have multiple keys, and also they can have generic types. Now for the last parameter, type. There we can have numbers, strings, or booleans, or we can have more advanced types such as objects and arrays. This was a quick, short introduction about record. Whoa! What is this? It looks like a portal. If we enter this, we can start a quest. So let's do it. Upon entering the portal, you notice that you have been teleported to a nice underground ancient location. You search around for your quest, and all of a sudden you find a book. You stare at the book for a few seconds and you realize this is a clue you have been looking for. While you open it, you see that you have your quest there. You have to search for a treasure, and if you are successful, you have to use the record to label all the treasure items. But you have an issue. You don't see any treasure, but you see a key next to the book. So you grab the key, and then you see a door that shines. And you enter the key there, and you try to see if there is a treasure. The key works. You're super excited to see what's inside the door. Finally, you have found a treasure chest, and now you can continue solving the quest. You immediately try to open your code editor, and you start converting the treasure to a JavaScript object. And inside the treasure, we have gold, plenty of it. I would say we have 10,000 gold coins. Apart from the gold, lucky us, we have jewels. I'll say we have 50. And for the last part, I can see that we have maps that point to two different locations for treasures. Hooray! So far, the blueprint of the treasure is an object that has gold, jewels, and maps. Now that we understand the different parts of a treasure, it's time to open our code editor and try to get our hand dirty with TypeScript. So let's start the quest. Let's write our first type, and there we're gonna add a string. But let's be more specific and let's type only the keys that our treasure has. So we have gold, and I'm gonna use the pipe operator, which acts like a union type. Then we have jewels. And for the last part, we're gonna have maps. And we have successfully mapped the JavaScript object keys. Let's add a comment as well, just to know what is this one. So this defines the valid keys. And then let's continue to the next part. So again, we're gonna need a type. This time we're gonna define it as treasure chest. And inside there, we're gonna use, of course, the record. I'm gonna explain why. And then as a first parameter, we're gonna have the treasure type. And then we're gonna have a number, which is the values for our keys. So the first part, the treasure type, defines the values that the keys can get. And the second part defines the values that we store for our treasure. And in this case, as we can see, all of them are numbers. I hope that makes sense. The most important part of the equation is to associate the object with a TypeScript type. So we need to associate it with a treasure chest. And now, if I try to go and say we have lots of gold as a value of the key, TypeScript will say to us that you cannot have string where I was expecting to have a number. So let's try to revert this. And now let's try to add another key that doesn't exist in the blueprint. So let's try to add silver 50. And TypeScript says that silver does not exist in our type treasure chest. I hope this helps you better understand why record is a good thing for consistency. So, welcome back, adventurer. I think you might be wondering, have we finished the main quest? I guess, yes, we can say we finished the main quest. But there is a missing thing. Since we're adventurers, we have two maps. So we have to figure out where those maps have the treasures, and when we identify the missing clues, we have again to use TypeScript to map those new treasures. So are you excited? I am. Let's go. We try to inspect the map, and all of a sudden we find our first treasure location. Then we try to look for more treasures, and as we search and search, we're able to find the second treasure. Now that we know the treasure locations, we set sail to them. And while we travel, we are thinking on how to start mapping the new treasures in TypeScript. I think it's time now to open the code editor again and continue with our second subquest. Alright, so it's time to start our second subquest, so let's try to code it. So we have found the new discovered treasures, which is going to be an object. And inside our object, we're going to have the first map. Let's call it map 1. It's going to be another object. And there we're going to say that we discover gold with a value of 50, diamonds with a value of 1, silver, 100, and rubies. And that's our first map. And let's go to the second map. So for our second map, we're going to have again a key and an object. And there we have discovered silks and gemstones. And yeah, that seems like a good loot that we discover. So now again, it's time to start creating the blueprint for the newly discovered treasures. Again, we need to start mapping the keys first. So let's create a new type. So the type, we're going to call it map names. And then inside there, we have map 1, which is the first key. And we can have map 2, which is the second key. Again, as you can see, we are using the union or the pipe. Next, we have to create the type for the map keys. So we're going to call it treasure types. Remember always to have the first letter as capital. And then inside the maps, we have gold, diamonds, and I'm going to copy paste the next key values, which is silver, ruby, silks, and gemstone. So let me save this. And there you go. We have defined the map keys and the inner keys. We have mapped our keys successfully, but an object, apart from keys, it has values as well. So now it's time to try to map it as a complete object, meaning the keys and the values. So let's create a new type. So let's call it treasure at its location. And there we're going to use the record. This is for the keys that exist inside here and the values. And we're going to use, of course, the treasure types. And as a second parameter, as you can see, we have numbers. So we're going to use number. This looks fine, but if we're using the record, it means that we will have to use even the keys that are not used. So there you will have to use silks as well and gemstones. And it's something that we don't want to happen, so there is a trick. We can try to use another utility, which is called partial. So again, we're gonna start typing partial, and we're gonna include the record inside there. This means that we don't have to use every key inside our types, but we can use any of them. Amazing. So far, we have mapped the inner object and the outer object with its keys. So it's time to finalize a recipe, and we need another type. Let's create a type, and we're gonna call it, of course, discovered treasures with a capital D. And inside there, of course, you guessed it, we have to use record. And for the keys, we're gonna use the map names, which is map1, map2. And for the values, which is an object, we're gonna use now treasure at its location. And this completes a recipe. And the final step is to assign the blueprint to our JavaScript object. And there you go. We have successfully completed the main quest and the sub-quest. What we did here, we're using the record, and for the keys, we have the map names. And for the inner object, we're using another type that has our keys and the values. And because we're using partial, you see the question mark for each key, which means that we can use any of them. If we were not using partial, as we discussed, you will have to use the keys all the time, even if they had no values. What a journey we had there. We were able to see how record works, and at the same time, along the journey, we were able to figure out how to sort out our treasure loot. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like and comment below what you liked. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.